Today we've got Bob Casey up against Ron DeSantis in this 2024 matchup. This was suggested to me in the comments. DeSantis, governor of Florida. Casey, senator from Pennsylvania. More people, I think, know DeSantis. He's in the news. Casey is a little bit less prominent, a little more under the radar. He was known as a pro-life Democrat, so I don't think he's going to excite the progressives too much. His personality is also, I think, a little bit more bland. Ron DeSantis, people say he has no charisma. I think it's low, but who knows how much it matters. He does excite the base a lot more than Casey would. Casey is going to have more appeal probably in the suburbs and with independents. And in those key Rust Belt states, Casey is from Pennsylvania. That's going to help him. With DeSantis, a lot of people say he would completely struggle in the Rust Belt. I think on economics that's true. His appeal would be a little bit more cultural there. But also it remains to be seen how well DeSantis would actually do in those states. Maybe he does better than we expect. Maybe he does get wiped out and lose them by likely margins. But anyway, let's get into this. We'll start in Alaska. That'll be just over 10 points. Safe for DeSantis. Hawaii, safe for Casey. Now we got Washington, Oregon, California, safe for Casey. How about Nevada? That would be a competitive state. Eventually, I decided on a tilt for DeSantis. Idaho, Utah, safe for DeSantis. Now we've got Arizona. It's more of an establishment state. Casey would probably be a better fit. DeSantis is not going to be as polarizing as Donald Trump, but I still think it would go to Casey by a tilt margin. Montana, Wyoming, safe for DeSantis. Colorado, low double digits, safe for Casey. New Mexico, likely for Casey. North and South Dakota, safe for DeSantis. Nebraska at large, safe for DeSantis. The 2nd District, that's more suburban. It's trending toward the left. It leans for Bob Casey. Kansas, safe for DeSantis. Oklahoma, safe for DeSantis. Texas, I still think that'll be over 5 points, likely for DeSantis. Minnesota will be over 5, likely for Casey. Iowa, likely for DeSantis. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, safe for DeSantis. Now let's get a little bit more into the Rust Belt and go into Wisconsin. I know people will say in the comments, DeSantis cannot win the Rust Belt. That's not going to affect my rating. I think DeSantis would do a little bit better than people think, but at the same time, I'm open to a lot of different things happening. Bob Casey is not going to really fire up a lot of voters. His appeal is more in the middle. It's possible DeSantis does activate some new voters, doesn't get completely wiped out like Trump would in the suburbs, and does well in a state like Wisconsin and wins it by 1 or 2. However, in this matchup, I do have it going about 1.5, and it leans for Casey. Illinois, safe for Casey. Michigan, probably 3 or 4 points, maybe up to 5 for Bob Casey. Indiana, safe for DeSantis. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, safe for DeSantis. Let's go to Ron DeSantis' home state of Florida. This, I think, will be likely for DeSantis. Mid to high single digits, not quite safe. How about the nearby state of Georgia? I think Bob Casey would do well enough in the Atlanta suburbs. Given it's a southern state and it does border Florida, I could see this going either way, but I did settle on a tilt for DeSantis. South Carolina, safe for DeSantis. North Carolina, leans for DeSantis. Let's go to Ohio. That'll be likely for DeSantis. West Virginia, safe for DeSantis. Let's jump up to the corner here in Maine at large. That's going to be likely for Casey. The 1st District, safe for Casey. The 2nd District, that's going to be leans for DeSantis. How about New Hampshire? That I think will be about 5 to 6 points, likely for Casey. Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., all safe for Bob Casey. Let's go to Bob Casey's home state of Pennsylvania. There's no question he would win the state. It's going to be by a likely margin, probably mid to high single digits, similar to what DeSantis would do in his home state of Florida. And now we've got the last state, and that's Virginia. That's going to be over 5 points, likely for Casey. And that comes out to 281 for Bob Casey, 257 for Ron DeSantis. So Bob Casey does have an edge. It wouldn't be a blowout for him, but I think he would win. It does come down to the usual states. It's Nevada, it's Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin. This time Pennsylvania is completely off the table. Michigan is probably off the table as well. It's possible Bob Casey has a great night. He gets Ohio under 5. Maybe he gets Iowa under 5. He could win Nevada and Georgia. But on the other hand, if it's a red-leaning environment and DeSantis surges, really connects with enough voters, gets the turnout he needs, then he's going to flip Arizona and Wisconsin, and he's going to make it close in Michigan. So it does come down to the same usual factors. What is the turnout going to be with the base? DeSantis is probably going to do better than Casey would, but when it comes to the voters in the middle, Casey, I think, would have an advantage. But it also does come down to the running mate. It comes down to what the issues are at the time, and it comes down to how these two run their campaigns. Love to see these two in a debate. DeSantis would hit up a lot of the cultural issues, and I don't know yet exactly how well that's going to translate nationally. I think some of it depends on what's happening in the country at the time. And as far as DeSantis struggling with charisma or retail politics, yeah, he's no Trump or Obama in that department, but I also don't think he's as bad as Hillary Clinton. And also, charisma is not everything. Plenty of candidates have won. Joe Biden won, and I think his charisma was low. So you could go on and on about this. There's a lot of speculation here. DeSantis is a more nationally known figure. Bob Casey is not. That could help or hurt him. It depends. But I'm assuming both of these run a national campaign. They get their name recognition up. And this is the map that I settled on. Let me know in the comments, do you mostly agree with this map? How do you think these two would deal with cultural or economic issues? Does DeSantis have a chance in the Rust Belt? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.